Rogue Sun, issue number 17 from Image Comics. So it feels like it's been a while since I reviewed a Rogue Sun issue. Did I do one last month or did Rogue Sun skip a month? I don't know. Maybe I've just been reading too many things in between. But yeah, it feels like it's been a long time. So previously in Rogue Sun, Dylan is inside the realm where all the Rogue Suns go when they die, where he meets his father again and he meets his grandfather for the first time. And there's like a civil war basically where the other Rogue Sons are trying to kill Dylan because they believe that if they can get Dylan to die, they can have a foothold to get back into the real world. And in the last issue, the grandfather sacrificed himself to save Marcus and Dylan. Meanwhile, in the real world, Juliet and her son and daughter, as well as the warden, are basically trying to stop Caleb. And so they have become demons by merging themselves with previous villains, in a sense. So basically, I can't believe I forgot the names of the characters. It's been for a while. Dylan's stepbrother becomes a werewolf by merging with the spirit of the werewolf that we saw in like issue 2 or 3 of Rogue Sun. His half sister merges with the Soul Stealer, and Juliet merges with Dylan's mom. So yeah, we start off this issue with Marcus monologuing a lot and basically talking about how his dad kind of treated him like crap, about how he hated his father, but despite hating his dad, it was still his dad, so he's still sad that his dad was killed. And like he tells like a story about how his dad's like always disappointed in him. Like his dad's one of those where if he tells you to roll a tire up the hill, even if you did it, he'll have something to complain about, like maybe you didn't do it fast enough or something. But he tells one story about how he realized that there's these two brothers at this farm that were doing illegal dog fighting. And one night he snuck out of the house to go rescue the dogs. And he had rescued all the dogs except the last one that bit him and then started barking, which drew the attention of the brothers as well as their family. So they all came out. Marcus like broke the nose of one of them, and then the dad hit him with the shovel, and they just beat the crap out of him. And just as he was about to lose consciousness, Rogue's son, who was Marcus's dad at the time, shows up, and Marcus doesn't really remember what happened, but he remembers that Rogue's son saved the dogs, and then the house of the family burned down. So you can kind of guess that Marcus's dad, Owen, got pissed off at seeing what they did to his boy, and so he destroyed their house. And he carried Marcus, who was drifting in and out of consciousness, took him to bed, pulled the sheets up, and said, "I'm proud of you, son." And Owen said this, not realizing that Marcus was awake the entire time. That he just had his eyes closed, but he was fully conscious. And that's the only time his dad had ever said something nice to him. And yeah, I guess this like motivates him to attack the rogue sons, the rogue sons who have gone rogue. And we just get a fight where he's fighting them, and then eventually Dylan joins into the fray, and Marcus is able to kill the Viking rogue son. And basically, the other rogue sons back down and allow Dylan and Marcus to go free. And meanwhile, we have Marcus's family fighting Caleb and some demons that Caleb has freed. And so, yeah, a lot of fight going down in this issue. So they're just kind of like split up as they're fighting, and we get moments where they're like talking to the spirit of the person that they steal power from. So we have like the little brother fighting some kind of like squid monster, and the ghost of the werewolf is basically just kind of like poking fun at him, and then eventually starts helping the brother when he realizes that he basically says, why don't you help me out? And the spirit says, I don't know, you stole my powers. I kind of want you to die. And so the little brother says, even if my dying makes you and your family look bad. And that's when he's like, all right, here's what you got to do. Meanwhile, we get the sister, and the sister has taken the powers of the Soul Stealer. And she basically kind of reminds me of, I don't know if anyone remembers this video game series. She reminds me of Raziel from Soul Reaver, the Legacy of Kain franchise. She basically is a soul stealer herself. She has like the scarf around her face to hide her nose and her mouth, which is kind of like what Raziel has. And then we even have a moment where she pulls down the mask and starts stealing some soul from the opponent that she's fighting. I was like, okay, yeah, that's straight up Soul Reaver. That's kind of cool. But yeah, we have a moment where Juliet is fighting some enemies and she knocks them all down. They're like unconscious. And as she's doing all this, Dylan's mom, who's the spirit whose powers Juliet has taken from, she's talking to Juliet. And she basically says, you should kill them both before they regain consciousness. Just one concentrated blast to the head should do it. Juliet's like, no, I'm not going to do that because unlike you, I'm not a murderer. And Gwen, Dylan's mom's like, no, you're a mother. Juliet, I'm only helping you to protect my son. So if you don't want to see your children ripped apart by these animals, you better decide how far you're willing to go. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of a cool line. Like, I like Gwen. I am kind of sad that they made her a villain way too quickly. I feel like they should have dragged that out. Like, I have no qualms with her killing Marcus whatsoever. Like, that didn't bother me. I just kind of wish that we didn't get that reveal too soon. And then I wish that her turn to the dark side didn't happen too fast. That's been my big complaint with Rogue Sun, it seems. Because I feel like even Caleb, I don't mind him turning to the dark side. I just felt like it happened way too quick. Like one issue, he's good, and then all of a sudden he's evil. And it's just like, okay, that kind of came out of nowhere. Same thing happened with Gwen, with Dylan's mom. I feel like the whole evilness just kind of happened out of nowhere. And it's like, I guess she's not technically evil because she's still trying to do this for her son. Except for the fact that we literally had a moment where she was trying to kill her son because she thought it would save him. So it's like, you want to save your son by killing him? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I feel like just the writing on that is just not coherent. But I like this little moment. And I'm hoping that Juliet actually goes through with it. Because that's one of those things that I've always hated in movies. Is when you have the villain who's trying to kill you, trying to kill your family, trying to ruin your life. You have them down for the count, and then you just walk away. It's like, nah, dude, you finished the job. You finished the job so that they don't come back later. I don't know. Maybe there's just something wrong with me, but like, then again, like I'm one of those people. I've always been Team Punisher. Like I believe in Frank Castle's way of doing things, not Daredevil's or Batman or anything like that. That whole like, no, I'm not going to become a murderer. I'm not going to become like them. It's like, dude. Do you think cops are murderers then? The ones that are actually doing good? Do you think people that, executioners that pull the switch for the death penalty, do you think they're murderers? Like, do you think they're evil people? What about soldiers? Soldiers that are fighting for their country's freedom, whether it be, American soldiers or any other soldiers. Do you think soldiers are murderers? Do you think they're monsters? Sometimes you just got to cut the tumor out, Sometimes if it's a villain that's not redeemable, you just got to finish them off so that they don't harm any others. So I'm kind of hoping that Juliet takes Gwen's advice and puts 2 concentrated blasts to these fools' heads and ends it. But I'm going to stop it there. I don't want to spoil everything else. I will just say that I like this issue. I've been crapping on this series pretty much since its inception. And I stand by all those criticisms that I've had in the past. I really do think that this series started off really, really terribly. It's one of those series that they had a good premise, but the execution was just god-awful. And it's had a couple of good issues here and there, but for the most part, it's just been terrible. I would have dropped this series a long time ago if it wasn't part of the Massiverse. But I will say the last few issues have actually been really good. And I'm hoping it continues that way. Because I've mentioned this in previous videos, maybe almost every single video I've done of Rogue Sun. You guys might be sick of me saying this, unless this is your first time watching one of my videos. But I love tokusatsu. I love like demon hunting stories, like stories where our main characters have to fight monsters or ghosts or demons or aliens or whatever. I like that kind of stuff. So you combine the two, and you have a tokusatsu hero who goes around fighting demons. That's like right up my alley. So I really wanted to love this series. And I just haven't been able to because it's been god-awful for the most part. But lately, it's actually been turning around and things have been really good. So I'm hoping that this trend continues. And yeah, like this is what I wanted out of my series from the beginning. Stuff like this. So yeah, really good issue. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really entertaining. I liked it a lot. And here's hoping that the next issue continues to be just as good, if not better. But there you go. There's Rogue Sun, issue number 17 from Image Comics. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.